because you already have 2 unmodifiable risk factors already.
So don't hide anyone.
So if the way you can prevent. Very important. Frying foods. You should not be frying foods now. Then, oh, I like fried dodo. I like fried yam. Why should you be eating fried food? Why should you be eating pastries? That is the highest source of trans fats, which is if there's anything like the baddest of the worst of the fats ever. Trans fat, pastries. The one I don't understand is why older people now are now liking Indomie and sausage.
That one, I don't think that one is for kids.
No! Older people. You know, sausages, processed meat, and I told you red meat is grade 2. Processed meat is grade 1. Cancer causing. That's your sausages, your bacon, your ham, your kilishi, cured meat. They are all grade 1 cancer causing. Corned beef, of course.
Corned beef is what?
They are all grade 1. So if you can stop eating these things to reduce your risk, why don't you do it? Of course, yeah. You reduce that. So you see the goal here is not to eliminate. The goal is to minimize as much as possible because now you are trying to prioritize your health. What should you be eating more of? Your fruits and vegetables. People say, eating fruits and vegetables are expensive. I'm like, if you know the cost of medication, you will eat your fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are not expensive. You cannot be in Lagos and you're looking for broccoli that is in just Plateau State. When we have shoko, we have efo, we have ugu that you can get for 100 and 200 naira. Right now, watermelon is in season, oranges are in season. You will not say, no, I want to take mango. Mango, no. From where? You have to eat foods that are in season because they are sustainable and affordable. So it's not about what you like. It's about affordability for sustainability purposes. Because you're getting to this phase in life where the inflow slows down, but the outflow almost remains constant. What you keep spending remains constant, but your inflow will start slowing down a lot. So as much as possible, you need to go for what is affordable. Always go for fruits and foods that are in season. Do you know that eating up to 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day reduces your risk of a heart disease by 25%? Eating 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. 5 servings, 1 orange is 1 serving. Yes, 1 orange is 1 serving. 1 banana is 1 serving. If you divide the watermelon into 8, 1 is 1 serving. Same with purple, like that, or a cup. Yeah? So that's 1 serving. You make it a point of duty that every day, I'm not taking my fruits and vegetables for today. Oh. I need to take it. Why? Because you are prioritizing your health. Because you want to protect your heart. That is why you're doing that. Are we together?
Yes.
If there's anything you need to reduce, salt. We're a very salty continent. We're a salty nation. And in 2016, the Federal Ministry of Health recorded that 25% of adult Nigerians are hypertensive. That was 2016, and of course, you know that these statistics are just from general hospitals and tertiary institutions, because they didn't cover the people that used to go to hospital. They didn't cover them. 2 years ago, I had a medical outreach, and we saw over 1,000 people. Over 3 over 4 of the population were hypertensive or diabetic. And I'm like, look at statistics. These are people that, you know, they're having hypertension of like 220, 150. You're seeing like outrageous numbers. Random blood sugar of 400, random blood sugar of 300. And you're like, what is going on? And you're like, what did you have for breakfast? Bread. What did you have for lunch? Ah, no. Correct. I like to swallow.
Number one enemy.
It's not even the main enemy, it's about the quantity. Most times we eat a lot. Aside from us eating bad, we now eat a lot. So it's very important that we stay intentional. What should we be drinking more of? We should be drinking more of water. Water is the only fluid that does not have side effects. What happens with drinking water is that the more you drink water, the more you go to the loo. You drink water, you go to the loo. But it's good. And if you keep drinking water and going to the loo, you will find out that at a point, your urine is very clear. It's flushing a lot of toxins. That's the only fluid that does not have any side effect. I told someone that I'm not taking malt in 8 years. Yes, because this body is still going to pour in malt inside. I'm sorry. Oh, you're apologizing for what? Huh? Sorry? Yes, I'm been in Nigeria. No. Because I don't eat every time I go out. You know, it's so bad that because I don't use seasoning cubes anymore, and I don't use, I use very minimal salt. When I eat out, I'm flaring up. If I check my BP at that time, it would have risen by 5 or 10. That made me understand that, the body knows what is good. The moment you start giving your body good stuff, it's just like I eat bread. When I eat bread, everybody in my house knows that I'm going to be constipated. Like 5-6 days. Just because I eat bread maybe 3 times a year or 4 times a year. Yes. Yes. Because bread is even the one they call wheat. You know, the food industry is such that you can actually put 2 spoons of wheat inside a bucket of white flour and call it wheat bread. You can actually put 3 spoons of oats into a bucket of white flour and you call it oat bread. Yes, even in the US, it's acceptable. So when people even say, even, it's even worse. Whenever I talk about that, it's worse. Their food is worse. Their food is worse. And 60% of the American population are obese. And most of those obese people are black. Because black, are we together?
Sorry, there's always a bad boy in the class.
I noticed.
Sorry. And when we were in the university, we had a lecturer who termed them backbenchers. That was when we said Miss or Mrs. Backbenchers. So it's a backbencher.
So it's very important that when some people I went somewhere and the person was like, oh, I only take the things that I import the food. I'm like, that's worse. Whenever I travel out, like 6 days, I almost know those places. It's worse. Their food is worse. Yes, black Americans are. Because being black, for some reason, scientists have not been able to discover why the black is more predisposed to these lifestyle conditions. You understand? When they did the statistics, most of the, if you were following during the COVID period last year, most of the, over 90-95% of the people that had mortalities from COVID had underlying conditions. And aside from them, most of them were blacks. They were blacks or Hispanics. So Caucasians were least affected. Well, some people claim it's a socio-economic factor, but here in Africa, we saw that black people are also predisposed to these conditions. Being black. So that's why we say, what you can control, control. So even if you bleach, I don't know how that will work. But then do our best. It all starts with prioritizing your body. When you know that this body is too good for me to pour any junk inside, to pour just anything inside, then you will be intentional. It's all about being intentional. And when you learn these things, please, when you go home, tell your family. Because if you save on your own hospital bill and your family is not saving, you contribute for their home. So when you do, you have to take care of other people.
Yes.
Exercise. I always say if you do not make time for exercise, then you will definitely have time for sickness.
So, madam,
Yes, sir.
when you showed us this series of food,
Yeah.
steak and the last slide, yes, you did not point to us which of these we can take to. They look so fascinating. There's nobody will show me this one. I will not be tempted.
Yeah.
If you tell me which one I should not touch now, from all this food, I'll be much more careful.
If I tell you not to touch anyone, you can't touch. That's what happens. That's how the human mind works. So I've told you what to limit. Limit your oils and your roundabouts. That's there. Yes? I've told you about fried, these are all other fried things. We've talked about animal proteins to limit. This is the typical African diet. So I'm not saying stop, do you understand? But if you can still have your ofada without bleaching the oil. You can still have your ofada without turning the oil into something else. Do you understand? So you can still have that. You can still have your jollof rice without it having so much oil. You can choose to use more fresh tomato instead of using the tin tomato. I'm sure you know that tin tomato is mainly concentrate and color. Mainly. I was reading the back of one and it shows about 20% of tomato concentrate. What's the remaining 80%?
Soya beans.
Yes.
Just like that, I don't know if you know those ones. Oh, I just take only almond milk, I take only, those ones, the liquid in the packs. It's like 8% almonds. What's the remaining 92%? Flavoring, color, eat this, eat that, different things. Is your body a lab? You understand? So the goal is not that stop eating rice and your stew. But you can choose to replace that assorted. Looking there with something better like what, please?
Fish.
Perfect.
No, but
Bad boy. You replace that assorted with assorted. Say the bad boy.
Before we know, you are already, what was,
So we talk about exercise. If you do not have time for exercise, you definitely lover and keep dancing. Never allow the child in you to die.
Yeah.
That's the key to your longevity. You're allowed to be a child.
Yeah.
You are allowed. And of course, when you come out, yes, you remain that you okay. But you come back in, you're allowed to play. Which young? That's all. I choose not to hear that. So, it's very important. Exercising. You don't need to do so much. Just walk or dance. Don't go and start doing Usain Bolt and say you want to train for Olympics. You don't need to run. Even if you're having arthritis, the best remedy is to keep moving. What happens is that the first week, the second week, it's like the pain wants to kill you. The third week, you're like, nah, I'm not going to do this anymore. But by the fourth week, try it. You'll be shocked.
I'm seeing you looking young.
Before, when I first got into medical school, they said, certain cells do not regenerate. The menisci on the knee, the nerves, they don't regenerate. But recent studies are showing that with a combination of lifestyle modification, there are a lot of regenerations that happen. A lot of regenerations. So it is possible for your knees to start feeling a lot better. Not when you're standing up from the bed, you're holding your hip like, oh my God. If that happens, then that means you need to exercise more. Walking is always safe. As long as you can walk into a room, that means you can walk at your pace. Initially, you start going this way. At a point, your body will tell you, it's time to pace it up now. You're doing well. And you pace it up. By then, your endurance is building. And as your endurance is building, you're feeling more energetic. At a point, you may even start breaking it into jogs and runs. I remember that was like 2 years ago, my dad was first diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Wow.
And then, with chemo and everything, and of course, I came with lifestyle modification. Some weeks ago, my mom told me that your dad is now jogging. Are you not going to tell him to stop? He's like 74. Like, the guy has so much energy now. I'm like, Mommy, are you afraid of something? You know what she's afraid of? I'm like, are you afraid of something? Because he started with walking. And if you see him, you will never believe he's 74. Never. He does, on my social media page, we're always exercising a lot together. But that is something that can happen when you start becoming intentional. You have to move. I don't have time. You have to have time for yourself. Because exercising is an act of self-love. It's self-love because you love yourself. Maintain a healthy weight. I'm not saying one weight is good for everybody, but you know the point when you start feeling overweight. Some people notice they start feeling overweight by when they are climbing the staircase, it's getting harder. And something that happens is that with age, most times the weight stays mainly around your midsection. So you just start having that extra layer and you're like, I used to have extra layer. But then, it comes with age. That's why you have to be intentional because that midsection fat predisposes you for metabolic syndrome. What's that? High cholesterol, type 2 diabetes. It increases your risk. So as much as possible, maintain, especially around your waist, especially around your midsection. The standard usually is a 35 inch for the woman and a 40 inch for the man. Inch, yes. Yes, I got it.
Come again.
35 inches for the woman, 40 inches for the man. So for the man, that's the size of your knee. 35 and 40. 35 for women, yes. 40 for men. Well, no, waist circumference is pretty much a constant. Yes. It's pretty much constant. Alcohol intake. As much as possible, studies have shown that there is no safe level. breast cancers. There is no safe level. And before you say, oh, red wine, the doctor said a glass of red wine is okay, you always go with that excuse. A glass of red wine is good for the heart. What is good for the heart in the red wine is the carotenes in the red wine. And the carotenes can be gotten from grapes. Carotenes. From grapes, the carotenoids. Can be gotten from grapes. So please eat grapes. It is carotenes you're looking for the heart. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Are we together? So that should be what you should be going more for. And I've said it's so hard to see very good red wine even in Nigeria. The proper good red wine. Huh?
What about the sugar in the grape?
Sorry?
The sugar there.
The sugar in the grape is not bad. The sugar in the grape is not amazing, but sugar.
Because there are some sweets because of the fiber.
Nah. Good. Because of the fiber. Now, you see, even for diabetics, yes, the fruits are not what's going to raise your sugar. What is going to raise your sugar is pretty much the bread you ate before the fruits. And then we'll not blame it on the fruits. What I usually tell, if you combine it with a healthy diet, with a healthy lifestyle. So, if you're diabetic, for example, I usually say, keep your fruits earlier in the day. Because you tend to be more active earlier in the day. It dissipates, it's triple sugars. But studies have shown that the phytochemicals and the fiber in the fruits help with controlling its effect on your blood sugar. You understand? So the sugar in the grapes is not going to influence that. What is going to influence it is probably the rice and meat you have for dinner. That would have influence on the morning. So most times we are blaming fruits and vegetables and leaving the real culprits. You understand that? Good. No smoking, of course. Both direct smoking and indirect smoking. The other time I went out with a friend and they seem to have no smoke. Everywhere was like a smoking region. Upstairs, downstairs, by the side. I asked the management, is there no place for no smoking zone? Because what happens is you as the second-hand smoker, it's worse.
Yeah.
You know, in the cigarettes, there's a filter. The smoker knows where to stop. There's usually a line on he knows where to stop. You are at the back end of the filter. And then you'll be wondering, why am I feeling hazy after hanging out with my friends? Because someone close by was smoking. Why am I feeling sick after hanging and having a good time with my friends? Oh, because there was two people were smoking over there. And you were just here minding your business.
How about AK-47?
What's that?
The smoke from the...
There's no safe version.
But it's not combustible. We are just using it to clear the waves.
You can clear the waves with water. You can use eucalyptus oil in water. You can use lavender to cleanse the airway. So if you want to cleanse the airway, now give your option. Sleeping is very good for your health. What happens is that with age, as you get older, you tend to sleep less. Insomnia sets in. That is, it comes with age. This is the time to relearn how to sleep. You have to learn again, but you have to allow your body to learn. This is not the time to start checking who commented on your alumni WhatsApp page. What did this person say? Whose child is getting? This is not the time. Because you have to learn how to sleep. What happens is that your constant exposure to the blue light sources are your phones, your laptop, your tablets, your TV. It inhibits the hormone melatonin, which is important for you to use to sleep. So I always say, when you have a television on in your room, it's not a sign of affluence. It's just a sign of impending doom. Because whether someone say, oh, the sound is not on, it's not the sound that is a problem. It's the blue light. And the blue light is from a larger screen. So it's even larger than your phone. You find out that even when you fall asleep, you do not sleep a rested sleep. You wake up if you fall asleep in front of the television, for example, when you wake up the next morning, you don't feel like, I really slept. You wake up feeling woozy. Like, I need to sleep more. And that's what happens. It's normal physiology. favoring you. So you need to do better. You need to try. Allow yourself to learn. Be patient. When you're trying to learn a new habit, give yourself 21 days. If you want to learn to have a new taste buds, you want to learn to eat better, you have to allow your taste buds to regenerate every 21 days. Same thing with learning to sleep. Be patient. It's not the time to read news. It's not the time to listen to news. You can listen to music, calm music, and reduce the light exposure. Very important. Sleep, there's a point, by the 4th hour of sleep, a lot of cellular regeneration happens. So you start having better insulin control, better blood pressure at the 4th hour of sleep. Most times, before the 4th hour, you start up to go and wake you. And by the time you lie down again, you're starting all over. So what do? I say drink water, but drink most of your water at the end of the day. So that by 5 o'clock, you're just sipping the bottle till sleep. It's not in the night, it's okay. Doctor said we should drink water, you carry 1 gallon. You will not sleep, of course, at night. It's not village people, it's not your ancestors that are calling you to the bathroom.
Sometimes you use the answer. Some drugs, there are some drugs to enhance you to sleep.
Sorry?
There are some drugs that enhance you to sleep.
Okay.
Most doctors recommend those drugs for you. But really, it's not a sleeping drug, but it's a calmness drug that calms you to sleep.
What's the
Yeah, they have those tam.
Yeah.
Just try to relate it with what's the benefit, what's the disadvantage.
Okay. So the benefit is that it causes dependency, and you get to that point where you cannot sleep without it. So it's just like someone that's on coke. Do you understand? So, like I said earlier, I'm a lifestyle medicine physician, and I'll teach you the lifestyle aspect. It's not an easier alternative, but it's a less side effect free alternative. Do you understand? Yeah. So, and I won't argue the fact that yes, a lot of doctors recommend that, but right now, like I said earlier, we're just 17 board certified lifestyle medicine physicians who advocate this other aspect. It's not lucrative for me to teach you to sleep on your own when you should come to my hospital. That's why I say I have a hospital. For those who don't get one, 70% of them are not going to get one. So that will do come, pay hospital fee, and I give you medicine. So when I teach you how to maintain lifestyle, and you do not want to learn, of course, please come for consultation. And I'll be, of course, you will pay.
And you smile to the bank.
Naturally. So you see, it's a choice. You understand? You have to either allow yourself to learn and reduce the intake of these drugs, because by the time you're 65, you can't sleep. With increased age predisposes you to insomnia. So the more you get older, the more awake you are. Then you want to keep popping Lexington every day. And of course, you know that all these things, they recycle where? Your kidneys. They go to your liver to flush out, they go to your kidneys. And then you're wondering why is there every time everybody were contributing for kidney failure? Who has noticed the rise in kidney failure in the country? It's all these things. So what you can prevent, so that the more you need to take medicine for, you will take. And the more you can work on yourself, you will work on it yourself.
What of white music?
White music.
Yes.
What of what? I didn't hear that.
No, she should know.
I did not hear you.
White music.
White music is good. It's fine. It's not like light music.
But it has a repetitive.
Repetitive, yes.
Yes.
It's a natural thing. It's not a pharmacological. Yes. It's like something that keeps going.
What about the one that my grandpapa is recommending to me now?
Who is your grandpapa? Okay, what do you recommend to you?
Yeah, okay, Kelly.
What's that?
Therapy.
I choose not to be involved in that conversation. I choose not to be involved.
No therapy.
What is stress? Are we together? What is stress? Stress is almost an inevitable. You almost cannot prevent stress. It's a part of life. Stress is a part of life. But stress can kill. Stress can kill. So that's why we're talking about stress. Very intentional. Sometimes the stress can literally be hitting you in the face. But you tell yourself, no. Most times I start singing songs in my head. I'm like, Doctor, are you here? I'm like, oh yeah. But I realize that this meeting is stressing me out right now, but I cannot walk out. So I have to think of maybe myself in Maldives, chilling by the beach, looking at the water. That's what I'm imagining in my head. Just because. So you have to find ways to deal with stress. But first of all, you have to know what is stressing you to be able to know how to deal with it. And know what symptoms you exhibit. Some people headaches, some people are angry, some people low sex drive, some people, you start having a cough, a headache, different things. But how can you manage stress? There are different ways. You can go for massage, you can go for some therapy. We don't believe in therapy here in Nigeria. I have no idea why. But sometimes you need someone to talk to, and there are mental health experts for that. There are psychologists for that. You don't have to be like a Yamada candidate before you go there. Most times, most of us need to just talk to a trained expert, not your pastor or not your father. A trained expert. Exercise is an excellent stress management technique. Excellent. Especially when you're doing exercise that you love. If you like to listen to music, you like to dance, please do that. You like to walk, please do that. What do you like doing? What do you like? Do you like to play? Do you like to play? Sometimes I like to play in the rain. And sometimes when it's raining, I just look at my children and I'm just going to start singing in the rain. And I come inside also. But it feels good because it's something I like to do. And it makes you, it brings out the child in you that you're like, okay, you feel like refreshed. So find something you like doing. Some people like to play with grass. Some people like to farm, do some gardening. Whatever it is, find it. Meditation. This is not spiritual meditation now. Intentional meditation, looking into yourself and thinking, what is stressing me out? What am I exhibiting? How can I? Just be aware. Yoga, going into nature. Very important. Last year with people not able to travel and everything, I quietly took myself to the village. And when you go to the village, it's like very refreshing. Especially like my village where there's no network. If you want to get network, you climb the tree. And I was not ready to be climbing tree every day. So for 5 days, my phone was off. And it was bliss. It was, the children are playing with real sand. It was relaxing. Those when you go to the village, don't want gem. Because if you want gem, everybody will know you're around or come and ask you for something. So because you need that you time. You need to experience nature. You need to sometimes get away from the hustle and bustle. You don't need to travel out. Go to a rural environment and re-experience yourself. Are we together? Time management. Manage your time, right? To-do list of what you need to do. So that not by 6 o'clock you realize that everything you wanted to do, you cannot do, you've not done it. That will stress you out. Music, very important. Music is a relaxant. So, these are stress management techniques. Pick any one that applies to you and run with that. Health check.
Okay. This stress, what about hanging out with friends?
If you like that.
If
you like that. If it makes you happy.
What sort of friends?
It's also about, yes, what sort of friends, right? It's also about what are you doing with the friends. Most times when you hang out with friends, you're taking in a lot of, most times like, somehow, yes, a lot of alcohol. I realize that when we say hang out, you're doing a lot of alcohol, there's a lot of animal protein on the table, and you're just going and going. It's not a relaxation. It's really not a relaxation. You understand?
Like, I mean, like, going out, people make at least once in a while.
Yes, it's even family time, picnics, it's good. It's all about being intentional with what you do there. That's what I meant. You understand? Family time is really good. Friendship is, it's bonding is so good. That's why last year a lot of people had there was a high rate of depression because of the social distancing. And that's why the virtual conferences started, you know, the Zoom, you can able to meet everybody on Zoom and people are now becoming better, but there was a high rate of mental illnesses last year, worldwide, global rates. In Nigeria, yes, worldwide, because of the social distancing. Yes, please.
Now, I'm just going to make a comment that it is what you do in your hanging out. So, in some instances, some people will say, a group of 5 or 6, we are going for a walk.
Yeah.
Even maybe in your estate or something like that. You know, it is still a hangout.
Yes.
Some people will come in and hang out and it's alcohol free and it's like maybe tea or something.
Yeah.
And they do it for 1 hour.
Yeah.
They go back home.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the point is that
What you do
for the mental health, it is, as you mentioned, it's super important and you can change the narrative of that engagement to be more
beneficial, both physically and mentally. That's very important.
In this digital age where social distancing is also part of it, and then we have to do meetings, virtual meetings, we have to face the blue light from the screen. How does that help our health? Knowing fully that the world is being more digital.
Yeah. Well,
ordinarily, most times before now, like you're having a classroom meeting, most people will tell you that I don't have time for that. Let's go digital and then let's have our meeting via Zoom and so many other methods.
Yeah.
And you face the
exposure
you're exposed to
increases.
the blue light most of the time. How do we manage that?
So thankfully, a lot of there's a setting in systems now that come with blue light filter, and also there are some blue light glasses. So you can actually get that. They're actually not expensive. Blue light glasses that look like this, but blue light blocking glasses. So there are a lot of them now. So you can actually get that. Yeah, I got mine for like maybe £3 there. It's not expensive. Yeah, so it's something you can get, especially when you do a lot of online meetings. Yeah, because you're trying to be intentional. Yeah, so there's that opportunity. Then take breaks in between these meetings. Sometimes get up. Some meetings I can be like 3 hours standing just because I want to be pacing and I don't want to have to remain sitting. Sitting is the new smoking. Being sedentary is worse than smoking. And studies have shown that if you sit straight for 60 minutes, your chances of these lifestyle conditions increases by 10% for 1 hour. 1 hour sitting. So imagine the increase with each 1 hour sitting. You understand? So sometimes you have because you want to be intentional with your health, you stand up at the meeting and you're pacing. You're pacing. You understand? Meanwhile, your screen is already dim. You can still be looking in. Most of these meetings, they want your video on. The ones that don't want your video on, you can turn it off and be pacing and be looking away from time to time. Just being intentional with little things. Make it suit your situation. You understand? Perfect. Health checks. As a man, you should make sure that you do your prostate check every year. How many people have done their prostate checks this year? You know what prostate check is? Checking your prostate. How many people have done this year? Only one person. 2 people.
But should not be every year. It's not every year.
So, every year. Yes. You see, the earlier the better. These things that prevention is cheaper. When my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer, me and my siblings, we literally sat him down and were like, oh boy, if you try him again. Because of course he's retired. So who bears the brunt of the whole process? It ran into millions of naira. It was us. That was not part of our investment. The guy is still alive. He's not even going anywhere yet. So we knew that him being alive was beneficial. It's cheaper still for us, but it was still expensive. And that was something we could have prevented. If him as the African man that he is, like the rest of you, go check your prostate daily. He sits down, he's sweating. He flushes. The chemo was hard. And I look at him like, hey boy, you good? We're like, you hear what next time? It's not just cheaper, it's better to make sure you check your prostrates. And dear women, you have to tell your partners. Because you will be the patient relative. And studies have shown that patient relatives bear it worse. They have, because the patient has realized that, okay, this is what is doing me. But the relative is having a hard time. We all had a hard time seeing my dad in that situation. And of course, it was worse for the wife. When she was giving testimony again, you think she was the one that had cancer and God delivered her. Oh, God saved me. We're like, what? You understand? And for the women, make sure once you're above 45, you are doing a mammogram yearly. Yearly. A mammogram yearly. These things, the earlier the detection, the better. The earlier it is detected, the better. Something you should check if you're not hypertensive, you should make sure at this age you should check your BP every week. If you are not hypertensive, if you are hypertensive, you should check every day. And if you're hypertensive and you don't have a BP machine, you go and kneel down outside.
If you know you are hypersensitive and you have your drugs that you use daily, then why do you check again?
Oh, you have to check.
Already you are taking your drug daily. So if you check, the result of checking is you take the drug again.
Please, does someone want to help me answer my question? You want to answer? Do you want to address the question? Oh, they are addressing it for you. Thank you. Thank you for all those that addressed.
We come from the same place. I'm taking him home. My granddad is waiting to advise him.
So the standard BP is actually, I still stay at the 128. Yes? Last year, they increased the range to 138. You know why they increased the range? 85. They increased the range. Why? Because people there are more hypertensives than there are more non-hypertensives. So they have to increase it to meet the norm. Do you understand? Crazy. Isn't that crazy? Do you understand? If not, everybody will become hypertensive. But I've seen people that had a stroke at 130/90. 130/90. So imagine. So it's not about what the regulations say, it's about how you feel. I still stay at a 120/80. I don't say, oh, because I'm older, so I should have a higher BP. My 81-year-old mother-in-law, her BP is a 120/70, 110/70. So it's possible. It's very possible. The question is, don't make excuses for bad health that you can change. So even if you're on drugs, it is important for you to know, are you having control on the drugs? That is why you have to check. Because there are some people that are on 2 medications, 3 medications, but their BP is still being 140/90, 145/100. That means it is time for you to make lifestyle changes. If the drug is not working, the drug is meant to bring it down. That means there's something you are not doing. And if you go to the hospital, your doctor will say, oh, okay, I will add one more, or I will increase this. Because they don't say, no, go here, we don't need to tell them to remove salt, we don't agree. No need to tell them to eat this, they will not agree. Really, that's how we look at it. It's so much stress to say all this, and someone does not listen. On top of what, in this Nigeria, that my sibling is a doctor in the US, and he's like, you have just, insurance covers just 15 minutes of consultation. Why are you staying with the patient for more than 15 minutes? Tell the patient what? Don't eat it, eat it. Please, don't say anything like that. increases those in the next woman. Because the insurance companies will not cover more than a 15 minutes consultation with the doctors.
Yes, this is good.
So your health is in your hands. Don't wait for anybody because they said. Who said? It's about you. If you know you have a raised blood sugar, you're diabetic, you should be checking your blood sugar every day. If you're not diabetic, because of your age, you should be checking your blood sugar minimum once in 2 weeks. Trust me, pricking yourself is cheaper. Pricking yourself, most times you say, oh, I'll prick myself, I don't want to prick myself, it's just a prick. If you're not diabetic, because of the age, once in 2 weeks, you just go check your fasting and make sure that your fasting is below 100. If it's between 100 and 126, then you know that you are at risk for diabetes and need to do better and move backwards. Because once you've entered 127, you know that you're moving closer. And your risk for stroke increases from 127. Your risk for kidney failure increases. And then we don't want to start contributing money for you. Is that the goal?
What do you call the standard level? Sorry. The standard level.
Below 100. Normal. Between 101 to 126. Pre-diabetes. From 127. Now, this is in milligram per dl. From 127 up is now diabetes. 101 to 126 milligram per dl. Are we together? Yes. Are you tired? Okay, I'm done. Order. Okay. So those are basic tests. You should check your cholesterol level every year. Every year. And there are 3 things to look out for. Your HDL, your LDL, and your total cholesterol. Now, your LDL is the bad cholesterol. LDL means low density lipoprotein. Don't worry about it. Just know LDL. That is the bad cholesterol. Then the HDL and the total. So always make sure that your LDL is below the normal range. Most labs have different reference ranges. So as much as possible, if you're having it below 120, that's good. That's good. And if you're having your total cholesterol below a 200, that is good. Your HDL can be above a 50. That is good. HDL is the good cholesterol. So make sure, because studies are showing now that, you know what cholesterol does? Even if the person is not hypertensive, you have a high blood cholesterol, it will go into your vessels. Your vessels are like pipes that fluid, let's say like oil passes through or fluid passes through. Now it goes in and starts blocking on the walls. What happens? It will keep narrowing the way the fluid, it's not passing as it should. Now that's what happens. The blood is not passing as it should. And it keeps blocking and blocking. And one day, you just keep having those low signs of, oh, I feel dizzy a little bit. Oh, I feel headache a little bit. And then one day you're driving and it's like you have this blackout. Just come. And you check your blood pressure is fine. Go and check your total cholesterol. Because that's a stroke may be coming. Those are things we call transient ischemic attack. And most times before a big stroke comes, we always say, most of the time there was a small sign that you overlooked. Maybe you're watching TV and for a second, you didn't understand, how did they kill this woman? You just had that minor blackout. Please, remember, you are prioritizing this body you have. So you have to treat that body with intention. Anything you feel, run to the hospital. Ask for some tests. Sometimes the doctor will tell you, don't worry. Because we have so many people to say. But ask. You can ask for what you want. And if you're not good with one suggestion, you have the right to seek a second opinion. Because the doctor is the doctor that gave birth to you, gave birth to all your children, doesn't mean that you have to stay with them. If you are not comfortable with the decision they made, you have the right to seek a second opinion. Please don't joke with your health. It's very important. important.
Excuse me. This of the cholesterol level, HDL, LDL, total. Which one is more significant? Like, is more key out of the three ingredients?
It is key that the LDL is low. It's key that the HDL is high, and it's key that the total cholesterol stays below 200. They are all relevant.
So which one is more focused?
LDL. All of them.
LDL is the bad cholesterol. If it's high, it causes problem. If the total is high, it causes problem. So I don't know. I don't know.
You can.
I can't say which is better. No, I don't want to say which is better. HDL should be raised. That's the one I see higher than 50. That's a good cholesterol. It's protective. Yeah. So, sex in old age. This is very key for your health. Studies have shown that because you get older, your sexual desires do not reduce. What happens most of the time is performance anxiety. And it is acceptable. But it's important to know that as your body is changing, so also do, you have to keep communicating that to your partner. A lot of men will start experiencing a lot of erectile dysfunction. And this is, you say, oh well, I know it's to last. You are allowed to last. You are allowed to, and you are allowed to satisfy your partner. And a lot of women start experiencing a lot of dryness. And that is the moment when it is time for us to now become, people now become brother and sister. You're not brother and sister. You are husband and wife. You can never be brother and sister, so don't become brother and sister. There's no room for brother and sisterhood. Because, I had a conversation with one of my mentors, and he was like, there was a time, him and his wife is like over 60, and he's like, him and his wife had to make a schedule. So Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, they know that night will be. So no matter what anybody is doing, they know that those are the nights to remember. And those are the nights to remind themselves that they are actually partners. They are not related. But they are like role models. They are so close. And then they are like the topmost of health. But they are very intentional with their sexual life. Aside from being intentional with their health. You know something? The testosterone is a very aggressive hormone. And the men have more, the women have a little bit, but the men have more of the testosterone. Now that testosterone keeps building up. It keeps building up. And there's no way. Because, of course, mommy is not in the mood. It makes the man unhappy. Then, this is the time to find other ways. It doesn't have to be missionary style always. No! It doesn't have to be, I'll kill my father. Is he mad? Why would you do that?
There's something in my village.
That's not acceptable.
Something in my village called Caroli.
No, you can still do that with your partner. This is the time for you to explore other techniques, other patterns. There's the 66, there's the spooning, there's the cuffing, there's the doggy. Every other way that will not affect daddy or mommy's back.
At 60?
Yes, sir. Never allow the child in you die. Sorry? Yes, the woman at 60. Yeah. You have to know that even at 60, please, at 60, what happens with the women when they hit menopause? They start experiencing a lot of dryness. Yes? But there's help for that. You can get water-based lubricant. This is not the time to use anointing oil. There's lubricant. There are lubricants for that will not be allergic to non-allergenic lubricants. Yes? That she can use. doctor, I'm not making my wife happy. I'm like, God, you're the man. I'll help you, okay? I'll help you help her.
We discussed with our grandfather.
And, you know, so there are a lot of,
We shall be sending some people out of this.
I agree. I second.
Oh, but it wasn't the first time.
I second that.
And that's 2 years later. 32 years later, I'm still standing.
So it's important for you to realize that with age, it is normal. With age, it is normal for those changes. Because that is what will reduce performance anxiety. Performance anxiety can be a stressor. Some men will not acknowledge that it is actually heavy on their heart. But that, oh, I cannot even stay 1 minute and I'm out. 2 minutes out, that's the hardest thing. It's so painful. When there is help that is cheaper than noodles.
But honestly, those are men, some of them, I think it's their efforts.
Yes, that's very true.
Because you ask them to go for
Help, they won't.
they won't.
Yeah, that's very true. But you know something? There's a way that I found one of my patients. This time the wives are complaining. And I'm just like, we did collect some multivitamins from you. And she's like, oh yeah, if he says it's to help his body, fine. Okay, try this for him. I know, Daddy, it's time for you to take your multivitamins. Just make sure Daddy is going to be available that day. And you give him his well man and other things to help him. That you know. And of course, Daddy will make you a happy person. And Daddy will be happy. And the next day, you're like, Mommy, those your multivitamins. Are we done with it? You know, you love me, are we done with the multivitamins? Where are they? It gave me some strength. You know, it's nice. You always find a way around your man. That's what wisdom and that's what partnership does. But turning the relationship into brother and sister will make both of you tense. You won't even know you're tense. Even for the women that will be forming, they're not in the mood. You as the man, you've not taken your woman to cloud 7 and back. That's why she's never in the mood when it comes to you. So you have a responsibility to ensure that your woman sees the heavens. You can do that even at 67. Yes. I knew you had a question that was about to come because when you
asking some of these questions.
Please do.
What's the consequence of brother and sister?
What's the consequence?
Yes, so you'll be far apart.
What were men meaning now?
It affects the union.
You could be close without sex. I don't know why it's positive.
That's not marriage.
The spirit,
There's a reason why it's marriage.
the spirit can be leading you to a different level on that angle.
The one your grandfather is planning, right?
No, see, the recommendation is that,
Which recommendation? Who recommended it?
you see, this is from the book that we are reading right now.
Which book?
My grandfather's book.
Okay, can we take that in a bit? Can we reference your grandfather's book shortly? I think I've heard about it.
It's the
We'll
same
reference
one.
him shortly. We'll reference him shortly. So, what action plans are we planning to take right away? What action plans are you planning to? You have to, at the end of all this, you have to come up with, okay, this is one thing I'm going to do right away. This is one thing I'm going to do right away. Who wants to share with us something you're going to start doing? When you hear something like this, it's just one thing or two things that I'm going to start implementing today. Health check. Yes, what are you going to do that? When you get back to Abuja, you do the health check. Yes. You're making a public promise. You know that. So you're going to do that next week. Eating more fruits. Perfect. So she's going to do her mammogram next week. Can we do that next week? Yes, sir. One more.
Walking more, walk.
Walking more. When you say more, how often? Every day, every week, 2 times a week, 3 times a week, be specific.
At least minimum of once a week.
Ah.
As against 0.
As against 0. Well, let's do twice a week. It's an improvement, but let's do twice a week. So, at the end of this session, or a Lamborghini, or even a Range Rover, you do not buy any oil from the roadside and pour inside. You will not even drive with that phone on the road. Now treat your body better than a Rolls Royce. Treat your body like a Bentley. Don't treat your body like a canapé. Your body deserves a lot more. That's very important. Thank you so much for your attention and God bless you. I have some of my books at the back, so you can just get any one. It's very good for healthy living, and also it has Nigerian meal plans in them, so you could also get that.
Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. I'd like to pick question. What type are you?
I'm Igbo.
Okay. Brought up in Delta.
I was brought up in Jos.
Just okay. That's how today, if I want to this meeting, it will have been a big regret. I want to start by thanking the organizers for coming up with this aspect of this meeting. Health all what you have said and things have practically come true. So when you're talking, it's as if you are talking to me. And I know you know that. Because there are certain things to say to somebody that you know that this man as a doctor, that this man might be having this issue. But with this sport, Tommy, is very unhealthy. Very unhealthy. So I just want to be a witness and tell you that all what doctor has said is right and they are myself. So I don't that. You see some people, they were not opportunity to eat the type of breakfast we ate this morning. And then when they have such opportunity, they abuse it, and even if what is not good. At this age, the most important thing is to control. And one of the things that can make you get 80 hungry is this what it is actually what destroys. At this stage, all food we eat apart from water is poison. It's nutrition that will correct, reduce the poison that you take into you. And then the exercise has the right way said. So please, I'm still having problem operating the food I eat. I'm still having problem. But anything I take to break my sugar up, I've been on the sleep for some years, over 10 years. Yes, I've been on the sleep. And it's using 9,000. We might be using 9,000 to buy small amount of insulin every month. But you can control this because I'm still producing insulin just because by nutrition, type of you can overnight exercise. And that's one aspect. So please, I want you all to take your own classmates. In the next 2 years, we'll be meeting again. And if you can put these things into practice, I guarantee you, all of us will meet again in 2 years' time. Yes. But if you don't do that, I'm sorry, when they have told 40, 50, these are issues that they have done. They have told us today. Madam, you are a wonderful woman. I hope your husband will be from this thing. Because one of the issues is in charge of my issue. She's my wife, I love her, she's everything to me. But I think she has to be in touch with you. So that my teaching can be perfect. Because at times church of people is off. All because the salt you need in your food. I'm not supposed to be taking salt like this. So I want she knows everything I've said. I don't say to people when it's over to explain the time. Next then let's after okay. She knows everything. So she will talk to her so that she can perfect teaching. I'll leave long for myself and for her. Then finally, madam, everything on the ability you said, how can we come and manage ourselves and everything. But there's one crucial aspect you never spoke about. And I think that's the most important affecting us in Nigeria. And what? And that was the organizers were kind enough to provide kits for us to protect ourselves. So I gave birth that well on it. I think because it's very, very important issue. And the latest, I don't know, a friend of mine just 3 months ago we were in Lagos. I went for the COVID vaccine. He said, I can never take COVID vaccine. And he didn't take it. And just a few days ago, I died of COVID. Yeah, just 2 days ago, he died of COVID. So, I think it's 5 days. Just well. Thank you very much.
So first of all, hello everybody. I need everybody to please give a round of applause to Jesus. Because despite everything he has been through, he's here. And he was even boogieing. That means that he's doing well. His diabetic hypertension has had spinal cord surgery. Do you know what that is? Do you understand what the spinal cord surgery is? It can render you crippled. But he's here. So this is another round of applause. Thank you so much, sir. That's a very inspiring comment and question. Now, why I didn't really mention on COVID was, okay, first of all, we I gave a detail of what I'm going to talk about with organizers. And COVID was not one of them. And secondly, there is still a 60-40 belief when it comes to COVID. I've been vaccinated, and people still do not believe there's COVID. I've managed cases. My friend died right in my watch under COVID, and that thing is messy. It's messy. Because if money could save, at least my friend, it would have saved her. I've lost patience to that. And for some reason, the variant now seems to be like the malaria variant. It comes like malaria. But you're treating malaria and you're not getting any improvement. You'll be having headache, no fever. BP is normal. It's changing the symptoms. So it's not always there's no cough. So it's important to know that people are still dying from COVID here in Nigeria. You just don't know. Because probably, it's not on the news, there's no statistics. Somebody felt that it's coming like, the recent variant is also coming like heart attacks. You understand? So it's very important when you start feeling like I'm having this malaria symptom that it's not going, then please go to the hospital or make sure that you've taken the vaccine at least. At least, it's very important. A lot of people still have different beliefs about that. But one thing is certain. God has given us the wisdom. God has given us the wisdom to discern between right and wrong. He has given us the wisdom, the power to come up. He's given the scientists, I was looking through one prayer we said, I'm Catholic, so there was this prayer that was released sometime in April last year. And in the prayer, they now said, one of the lines was, God gives scientists the wisdom to come up with management. factor. It's worse if you're obese. It's worse if you're it's worse if you're diabetic. It's worse if you have any form of cancers. It's worse if your immunity is low. Last year, everybody was forming, oh, my immunity, ginger, garlic, lemon, everything. All the price of now. I mean, why not even take ginger? Why not even take anything? So as much as possible, protect yourself so that you don't have any underlying disease that will now be a problem. I told you 2 weeks ago we had a patient. They were telling us $350,000 the minimum they gave us for one dialysis session because he had kidney failure and he was COVID positive. And right now, once you even come into my facility from the door, we're already estimating is this. We know the picture and we know the new pictures it's presenting with. So you stay out there. We call that place Babylon. You stay there before we bring you into the real world because you can't put the whole facility at risk. And especially most of these people as we're seeing, they're not vaccinated. So please, it's very important to be intentional. Very, very important. So I'll take 2 more questions.
Mine is not a question. As Cosmos has said, I want to thank the organizers for having the aspect of the union and our resource person. And then to me, I just thought that just saying thank you will not be enough, but for us to adopt some of these things that we have talked about today. And then I want to throw a challenge. By the grace of God, we are planning our union for in the next 2 years already. I want a situation that when we meet next 3 years, all of us at a session like this will come up and say what lifestyle changes that we have made. I think to me that is to show appreciation for what the organizers have done today. So by the grace of God, when we meet in Unilorin in the next 2 years, all of us, one by one, will get up and tell us what lifestyle changes you have made to make us a healthy and not like the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam, or doctor, my name is Oladipo Kimra, and my area of specialization is animal science.
Sorry, can we listen to him, please?
My area of specialization is animal science.
Okay.
You said reduce meat intake. So we are advocating that my dog should be phased out. I see that as a challenge. And I want to also note that the United Nations WHO has a daily requirement of protein which must come from animal sources per day, irrespective of whether you are young or you are old. That's number one. Number two, you talked about heart attack. I've gone for lifestyle lecture and it differentiated for us the difference between heart failure and heart attack. So I'll give you to stress the difference between heart failure and heart attack. Because I learned that one could last 1 minute, 2, but there's one that lasts 30 minutes. And the patient cannot even point to the particular point on his chest where he has something is coming from. That's true. On eating and obesity and other things, it has always been said that if you can burn it off, through exercise or some other means, or maybe taking tea or something else, that would also be a substitute. I want you to speak on that. Then on the issue of eating oats, in your meals, I didn't hear you talk about oats. Particularly still called oats. I have a friend who's a lifestyle specialist in England, and she recommended I eat my oats raw. I soak it overnight till morning, and I put yogurt on top of it, and then I have that. And it's feeling almost done. I will not want to stress you more. But when you talk about stress, and you also said life is about stress, I think we should also add that you should not get to the stage of distress. You can't rule out stress, but we don't want stress to be the stage of distress. Thank you. I'll stop there for your response.
Thank you.
Lando.
So, thank you so much for the questions. First things first, it's not my intention to phase out your occupation. I had no plans of doing that. And yeah, so that's the first one. The second one, you talked about reducing meat intake, but then the WHO says we should take percentage of animal protein per day. Now, I will share with you recent evidence-based studies that will counter that. And you will share with me the sources where that is from. Because yes, you're the same amount of protein, but recent studies have shown that you can get a good amount of protein from plant sources. It's good, very good amount. You know, now we start talking about complementary foods. Now studies are showing that you pairing your beans with vegetables, you get adequate amount of this. You're pairing your rice with corn, or you're pairing your beans with corn, you get the sufficient. So you can try maximally on a strictly plant-based diet. Strictly. Try. You understand? Now remember that everything I told you, I said that your age is already a risk factor. You are black is another risk factor. I forgot the third one. You are Nigerian is another risk factor. Is that? So you're like literally working extra time. So you cannot compare. You understand? Now I didn't make reference to oats because still pot oats, even I don't like them. Why? They are freaking expensive. It's not sustainable. No, we talked about what will make this thing, what will make you able to give this, is you being able to sustain it. Because as you get older, your inflow reduces. Your outflow does not change. Okay, that's fine. That's why I'm telling you from what I recommend is sustainability and affordability. If you choose to want to eat, for example, you want to have some prawns and shrimps and octopus, that's fine. That's your choice of seafood. But if I'm going to speak, I'll be telling you, please, do you have titles? Go for your titles, because I know everybody can afford that. Do you understand? So if you want to personalize and tell me, oh, doctor, I like my oats, I like my prawns, I like some, one of my seafoods, that's shrimps, I'll give you that. But someone else comes and says, okay, this is my budget. So what do I run on? I run on the baseline average, and that's what I will preach. So if you want more, that's fine. You understand? So that groups up stress and distress. Yes, there's stress and distress, but there's also acute and chronic. So I will work with the chronic, which I said, long-term stress. Stress is normal, but long-term stress. So that's why it's important for you to know what stresses you. Are you with me, sir?
I'm listening to you. Okay. You said what stresses you.
Good. So what stresses you? You have to identify it, know what symptoms you have, and then know how to manage it. Did we talk about that, please? Did we talk about that? Then burn up. Oh, this is why, this burning up, eating and burning up is the fallacy that we were passed on, that most mothers are passing on to their children. Fallacy. Most mothers, I had a diabetic. The parents are not diabetic. Another woman contacted us last week. It's tough. No, you know.
I heard everything.
I capture everything.
So it's important for you to know that. So it's important for you to know that statement is a fallacy. Why? Because your lifestyle is 70% what you eat. If you're thinking you're going to eat bad food and burn it out, you do not burn up bad food. Because your metabolic rate, the way it works, basal metabolic rate 70%, exercise is 10%, thermogenic effect of food is 10%, exercise is 20%, thermogenic effect of food is 10%, that's the 30%. That's 100% total. 20% is what is modifiable, that's the physical activity. 20% of your whole metabolic rate burning. Do you understand? No, it's not. Do you understand? So I'll advise, use Google Scholar when you want to research. You'll see a lot of peer-reviewed studies, evidence-based studies, so that we're taking more of information that not just Google, but more like studies. Did that answer your question? Thank you so much for your attention. God bless you. Just prevent both. There's a difference. Yes, heart attack is first. Yes, but then, whichever way, if it's just like if you're having hypertension, it can progress to cardiac failure. It's a slower progress. That heart attack is more. Yeah. So what we're just doing is when the sudden one.
Yes, but it can progress.
Yes, of course.
Failure.
Why do we want the goal for us is to prevent the complication. That's why we're here. I don't want you to progress. So we should not even talk about progressing. Should we discuss progressing? You want to get there?
Well, we should know the difference. Because it's basic.
I don't think it's basic.
So I quickly want to ask you, instead of frying, if it's green, will it make a difference?
No, air fry makes a difference. Air fry. Smoking, you know, there's some, I'm trying not to go so scientific, but there's something that they call AGEs, advanced, like latent enzymes. Is that enzymes? Yes. So, it's produced, these things are produced from smoking, grilling, frying. So, the best is that you prepare your food with moisture, or without. Or, yeah, so with some moisture, so like boiling. Air frying is better than, but boiling is best. Boiling or broiling? Broiling is with steam.
Yeah, I want to ask, you said breakfast is very important.
Who said?
Somebody told me.
Oh yes, who is the person? It's true. You know, let me tell you where that statement came from.
Social network told us.
Now let me just say this. Now, I want to ask, in order to control what I eat and how I eat, what if I skip or I go fasting? Will fasting help me with what?
Yes, fasting will help you. Yes. Do you know where the statement breakfast is the most important meal of the day came from? It came out in the 70s. It came out from Kellogg's and Graham's. They were two Seventh-day Adventists. You know Kellogg's, the guy that makes Kellogg's cornflakes, Kellogg's cornflakes, all of them. They started that statement as a slogan. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Graham came on because he's a Seventh-day Adventist. And they realized that there was a rise in masturbation at that time. And so they said, oh, if the men are eating more breakfast, then probably they won't be masturbating. It was a marketing slogan. And if you check the studies that say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, they are sponsored studies.
They are sponsored studies.
Now, whenever you say study, don't just take anything from Google. When you say study, go down to the end of the page. They will now see affiliates or sponsors. So if someone is saying, oh, you take milk and this, and check who sponsored that study. Of course, you can't sponsor my study and you're not advocate. It's just like 2 weeks ago, Rick Ross is a popular musician in the US. He came out with an advert for chicken wings. They said that day, chicken wings sold out in the whole of the US. That brand of chicken wings.
Thank you, that's my take home.
Who sponsored
So they said,
who sponsored my code? You said anti-diabetic drug. And I'm like, okay, should I chip in something about, lifestyle? They say, yes, you can just mention it for 1 minute, but then there's an importance, this combination. I said, I know the combination, I understand. But I want to, can I just tell them that they should also take the medication and exercise? Oh, yes, well, but that's not the core of the work. I said, I'm sorry, I have to turn this down. And that was good money, I told them. Good money. Because, I charge in dollars. No, I really do. I charge in dollars. Yes, I do charge in dollars.
Thank you.
Yes. So you see the issue. You see the issue is the pharmacologicals do not want. It's not benefiting the pharmacologicals. If you start managing, diabetes is reversible, especially when there's no underlying kidney or any end organ damage. Hypertension is reversible. But they will sink it in you. There was a client we worked with. She called me that her doctor said she should stop taking her medications. But they first told her that she will have to keep taking it.
For life.
For life. But she was already entering hypertension. She's 60. She was already having 90-something, 50-something, because she's doing lifestyle modification and taking the medication. So it was her doctor. I didn't even do that. And I told her, Mommy, but I told you it's reversible, you need to leave me. But that's what the sink in your head. There was a patent that was produced in Nigeria, some scientists in Nigeria, I know them. They produced a patent for the drug that will cure diabetes. Does that voice me? Because the pharmacologicals didn't see it. Big pharmacological companies swallowed it. They swallowed it. Because do you know what it means that I won't give you galvosmet? There's Galvos, there's now galvosmet. There's 51,000, there's 75, 1,500. We'll be increasing the dose in combination. Don't worry, they want to take it in one pill. Add vitamin D on top. We'll now make it three drugs with one, in one. Three combo. We'll give you X-Word Plus. Do you understand? So it's important for you to know that you are the only person that has the right to look out for yourself. Every other person is looking out for themselves. So you look out for yourself.
I will do. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think we should give a more round of applause. You've done a really, really good job right now. It's done a good job. As the lecture was going on, we see some of our guests, our members. We have here Mr. Dele Abolari. Can you please stand up? We also have Mr. Moses Ayalowo. And then we have Mr. Tajuddin Adeyemo. And the wife. Honestly, thank you, man.
Thank you very much.
If we are to I'm happy for one thing. What they say, 2021 meeting. Not that it's as big as the last one we did, but it's as qualitative. It's more qualitative than the last one we had. So we're improving. Probably the next one will be better than this one. So, and let us put to practice what she has told us, because there are day-to-day things that we do. So let us put to practice. Now where I'm very much after time is that I want this part of the lecture to end, so I have time to rest before the dinner, at least after 12 I can say. So let's now roll over. Let's now roll over to the part that also attacked us the most. Because as we are getting to our as we are getting older, we are also getting to our retirement age.
Hey, speak for yourself. Some of us are younger.
I'm going
our businesses. This they are going to see that it's coming from the farm. It's because of the farm people who come yesterday. It's not telling me it's not to the farm. So this now takes us to the business session, the business forum. And we all have our facilitators around. They are always time conscious. I know all of them, very time conscious. So to start the business session, we have Mr. Dele Adini. Please put your hands together for him. Yeah, Mr. Dele Adini, we have history. We started during the days he was the director of trade fair and exhibition at Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I used to represent my office and we used to meet, and we are involved in so many committees thereafter and all that. And we keep the relationship. Now he's the Director General, CEO of Institute of Director, Nigeria. Please, let's receive it, please. So, he's going to see, the topic is not this actually, but to get him to come here and to even get him to listen to me, I had some issues, so I had to craft the topic anyway, so that when he comes here, he will adjust himself to it. And he's having shit, he has not complained over it.
My brother.
I sent it to. I thought he would share it.
Alright, that's true. Just 1 minute.
We had an issue in the morning.
Because somebody just got here, it wasn't there. What we were feeling very so that is why
Let me share you the link. Can I get your number?
And what he's doing, or what he was doing, and what he's doing now, so that we can know it.
but I'm still agile.
Very.
Very strong. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, but before I left the service, this governor, the past governor, Ajimobi, invited all the ministry, MPs, asking them that we should come up with an idea, a project that will give me a legacy. And he cited an example of Baba Awolowo that started this farm settlement, Cocoa House. I am. So that we should go and put our pen on paper and let me see what we are out of. And by then, I was director of rural development for about 11 years. So I just pick up some areas that, as a director of rural development, if you want to deal with people in rural areas, you want to change their lives, you want to touch their lives, you want to create initiatives, give them water, give them light, give them food. So I picked the road, and I wrote about the road, rural road development. And I went through the net, seeing what has been done in the past. So now attach it, then use the idea, then try to visit all the places like Bauchi, like Kaduna, Tunku. Then I advise government that if we are able to go, building the road for people in rural areas, we will touch their lives. And by that became a project. So there's this World Bank project being sponsored. And it's called RAM, because it's Rural Access and Mobility Project. So I inclined into that, then push it forward. So I was invited to the Senate, the ESCO, because I did the presentation. That was my field. So I started that project in 2015-16. Then I got retired in 2019. When I now retired, the World Bank said it's not allowed me to go because of the knowledge being impacted. So, and since then, I've been the project coordinator, project manager for your state on RAM. Now, being impacted, it's no more RAM, it's now RAM. Let me now see. RAM means RAMP, abbreviation. Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project. So, to date, I am the coordinator in Oyo State.
Dabo, let's have you now.
Let me say, before, please, man. The area that is coming, because that's just how to start and how to benefit from it. Is you have to get the contract. We're talking about to go building now. Well, I'm my background now, agriculture is a real. But along the way, along the line, let me say this. I developed myself, I became a GIS expert, PhD holder, then by that, then I key into the program. And by that, I can help people if we can get ourselves together, having a contractor. That is to say, you have a company, you can form a consortium, coming together. Then, if you are able to meet the criteria, the World Bank, then you can flow. That's the area to benefit ourselves. So I'm there as project coordinator. Thank you very much.
For all those who know my other names, my former name is those are not the name. My father came to Unilorin.
university. After a career in IT, I specialize in design and delivery of complex items. I run 2 organizations on my own now. Let's need this. So I run 2 organizations of my own. The first one is in IT. I still do simple because I do it for myself rather than taking companies I used to work for. So I run Carbon Black. We still design and run complex IT programs. Most of the work we do is international, and thankfully, with COVID, we can stay in Nigeria and still work and grow. I also own a farm. It's in the 2nd year of operations. It's not commercial yet. We breed farming goats. Counting, we're getting close to 400 goats now. Our aim is about 1,000 at the end of the year.
That's all we need that here.
How many wives?
And Solomon has 3 wives and 700 concubines. She's 82.
So thank you. Let's get to the business forum straight now. We are going to
well, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's an honor to be here. Like Mr. Dukubabib said, invited me. I think when we discussed this matter, I was not even in the country. But there's no way you will invite me to anything. I will not be there, especially if it's something I can do. And the first caveat I want to give is that I changed this topic a little. I'm sure you will have seen it, that I changed it. Because I felt it was a little academic. And we shouldn't come here to talk about academic. Because I can see we have PhD holders, we even have professors here. So let me not come here and shoot myself in the foot. Let me just come and talk practical. Something I've done before. One thing I also realized is that it is possible that there are people here who have started businesses. It's not too late to learn one thing or the other. So even if you have started something, don't look at the topic about how to start and think, oh, maybe this is not for me, I've started already. You can learn 1 or 2 things. How to succeed. Yes. And I'm going to be talking to you from experience. Yes, I'm still on a 9-to-5 job, but from the advices I got from some more experienced people, I learned to start something while I'm still on my 9-to-5. And that's where I'm going to start my advice this afternoon. The best time to start whatever business you want to do is while you are still on your paid job. If you are somebody that is on a paid employment. Because at that time, the pressure is lower. Because whatever happens, there's still a place where salary is coming in from. So if there's any shock, there is a shock absorber. You can imagine yourself retiring, taking your pension or its gratuity, and then you put it in the business and it goes away. You can imagine that kind of shock. In fact, the stress that our good doctor told us about will be very minimal compared to what we have. So the best time to start is when you are still gainfully employed. But if you have not done that, let me give you an example. I started farming. I went into your field about 3 years ago. And as I speak with you, I cannot categorically say this is the money I've made from farming in the last 3 years. But what I have seen is that it is very lucrative. And the reason why I may not be making money from it now is that my attention is divided. I have cows, as I speak, I have pigs, I have plantation of maize and cassava that I do every year, I have a pepper farm, about 5 acres of pepper. But for me, I am still experimenting. But I can experiment because I have the luxury to experiment. Because somewhere, somebody is still paying my bills. So when that stops, I know that now it's time to get serious. So that's why I'm advising that if you are still in paid employment, find something you love how to do and that you can start doing and start doing it now. So the topic of my short discussion with you is an overview of a one-man or partnership micro, small and medium enterprises. The latter part of it was different before, but 3 days ago I changed it. Just 3 days ago I changed it how to start, how to succeed. Because I think that's what you're talking about, is the practical. Not all the challenges, prospects and everything. I'm sure you've had that many times before. And I realized that you're going to have somebody from back of the industry to come here. I cannot be as good at that as that person. Because that is their own stock in trade. So I want to talk based on my experience. So today we will be talking about, we'll do some theory things, we'll do definition, we'll look at the benefit, that's why you should go into it, what is the need for you, what is the need for our nation, the dynamics and characteristics, the challenges, of course. And then we'll now go to the how to start, how to be successful, partnership, pitfalls to avoid, and I will then conclude. So ladies and gentlemen, when you talk about micro business, small business, medium-sized business, there are many ways that it is described in different parts of the world. And when I talk about our own description here, please don't try to change my naira to dollar. Don't try to change my naira to pound. But I've always told people, the more we keep it indigenous to ourselves, the more we will be able to understand and to comprehend. Because with 500 naira, you can actually eat breakfast in Nigeria. But with £1, you cannot eat breakfast in London. I hope I'm making sense. With 500 naira, you can eat breakfast in Nigeria. I mean, but some of us, by the time we take one and a pack, we are good. That will not even cost you 500 naira. Good. But £1 cannot buy you breakfast in UK. And £1 today is how much? 750 naira. So it's relative, but don't let's go into that. So I want us to look at everything I'm going to talk about in naira, because this is Nigeria. So in Nigeria, MSMEs have been described generally as enterprises with up to 250 employees. That's max. Their employees are no more than. By the time you get to that level, 250 employees have become medium-sized companies. We have organizations that don't have more than 5 people. And when I say SMEs, don't get me, it doesn't have to be manufacturing. It could be consulting. It could be a professional firm. It could be farming, primary farming, and other. It could even be a school. Once you are within that range, you are still a small, a micro, or a medium-sized company. For micro, it's agreed that for micro enterprises, they have between 1 and 9 employees. If you don't have more than 9 employees, no matter the size of the capital or whatever, you are still a micro organization. Small enterprises, between 10 and 49 employees, while the medium-sized enterprises are between 50 and 249. And I'm actually putting back of industry on this because this seems to be the most appropriate organization to quote here. So if you look at the table I got from them, they said micro, you see the equal to 10 or lower than 10 employees, total asset of 5, equal to 5 million or below 5 million, and annual turnover of no more than 20 million. For small size, staff between 11 and lower than 50, total assets of between 5 million and up to 100 million, lower than 100 million, and then annual turnover of lower or equal to 100 million. While the medium size is between 51 200 employees, 100 and 500 million naira in terms of total asset and annual turnover of between of above 500 million but lower than, oh sorry, above 100 million but lower than 500 million. So the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Investment in Nigeria claims that Nigeria has over 37 million micro, small and medium scale enterprises. 37 million. According to their record. It's not mine. It's coming from the authorities. And they account for more than 84% of the total jobs in the country. 84%, when we were in school, that was distinction. So they are actually the highest employer. Cumulatively, they are the highest employers of labor. MSMEs, they are the highest employers of labor in the country. They account for 48.5% of the GDP. Almost 50% of the GDP, as well as about 7.27% of goods and services exported out of the country. Which means the majority, in fact, about 93% of the goods they produce is consumed within the country. So based on this, micro MSMEs account for the bulk with 39 micro enterprises account for 99.8% of the total MSME in Nigeria. So the smaller ones, the small one, the unit one, the family ones are more than any other one. And from their statistics, they said Lagos, Oyo and Kano State still have the highest number of MSMEs in Nigeria. And there's no game saying, we've had it many times, that if a country wants to grow, the first thing you look at and you work on is your small and medium enterprises. So if you have more, that means they can actually employ more people. They can actually produce more and help the GDP. You know, people refer to us all the time. They say Nigeria is a country that is not producing, that we are a consuming nation. We don't produce. That is one area that we can grow. And I agree with them. Because if Nigeria with 200 million is having the same GDP with Belgium, with less than 20 million people, we are not producing anything in Nigeria. So let's go on. So for a nation, the reason why people like you, elites like you, should do what you can to set up micro and small enterprises, even if it's in your backyard, it's doable. Is that the contribution to the economy in terms of output, they contribute to the economy in terms of output of goods and services. They create jobs at relatively low capital cost, especially in fast-growing service sector. They provide the vehicle for reducing income disparities. That one secretary that you employ, or that one farm hand that you employ, or that one cleaner that you employ, is also going out there to spend the salary you are giving. So one way or the other, you are helping to distribute or redistribute wealth. And they also develop a pool of skilled and semi-skilled workers as a basis for future industrial expansion. Those of us who have done a little bit of production in terms of SMEs will agree with me that sometimes you employ maybe a school standard or low ND holder, and you put up on a particular assignment, and you continue to tutor him on what to do, how to do it. Before you know it, he becomes an expert. Before you know it, he becomes an expert at that thing. He don't go to any school, but he becomes an expert. The person who treats who is like the person who treats my pig now, actually went to some, I don't know how they call it, you know these people who go to hospital and learn how to just give injection and things like that. And he started working with me. And then the vet will come, we will stay with him when he's giving the injection and everything. And today, we don't call the vet again. He knows when anything happens, he knows what to do. He knows what drug to apply. He knows the kind of food to give. Today, I'm so scared of losing him. And every experience he did was on that farm. So, they also improve forward and backward linkages between economically, socially, and geographical diverse sectors of the economy. Because they are small, because they are nimble, they help in linking the various just part of the economy. I'll give you an example. We have organizations that are very big in Nigeria today, in all sectors, manufacturing, but let's look at the manufacturing sector. Today, Guinness needs maize, Guinness needs maybe sorghum. Where do they go? They go to the farmers. When they cannot get to the farmers, they go through the middlemen who go to the farms to get all these products. The middleman buys it, ensure that it is kept in a good condition, and sells to organizations like Guinness. So Guinness has pockets of such kind of suppliers all over the country, who ensure that the farmer gets the value for what they do at the farm, and ensure that Guinness gets value in terms of quality of what is brought to Guinness. So at the end of the day, you can see that that man in the middle is like the person that is coordinating between all the other sectors. How well we do it is another thing we may not be able to talk about today. They provide opportunities for developing and adopting appropriate technological approaches. Also because of their size, the decision-making process in an SME is very, very short. In fact, for a company like my own, we have only 3 directors. Myself, my wife, and my son. So we have our board meeting either on the dining table or in the bedroom. That's where we have our board meeting. And once that decision is taken, action starts immediately. And that is the dynamics of a micro company. Decisions is taken quickly and then people can move on. They offer an excellent breeding ground for entrepreneurial and managerial talent. Today, my 25-year-old son is running the company. He's running the company because he started the business at about 20 when he finished from school. And he has now gone through his mother, myself, we've been training him, and today he can take decisions on his own. I'm so confident that this boy does not need to apply to any place that he wants any job. And these are things that has happened. For example, look at the young man I said was working with me in the big. I expect that soon he's going to be on his own. Or he's going to have a consulting farm where people will come to the calling to come and treat their pigs, especially in the local area where he is. So that is part of what the SME do for the economy. So we talk about the dynamics and characteristics of MSMEs. They are believed to be the engine for the development of any country. We have said that every day. Because you need limited resources to take off. It usually they have generally have limited resources, especially for new ones. Because most of the time you can't borrow. Most of the time you cannot borrow. Except for those, I know some colleagues of mine who, because of their banking position, they've been able to borrow from banks. But I've not borrowed a couple from any bank. And if I make a loss, let my loss only be in one place. I mean, if I'm not making money from what do I need to go and borrow again? So I'm using my salary, the savings I'm having, to run it. And most of the time, no bank, and I'm saying no bank will give you money to start. After you start and it's running well, they can give you money. Because they are always risk averse. Always risk averse. So they are always very careful. Maybe if you are setting up a small manufacturing firm and you have actually set up and they came to inspect, you have all your NAFTA or SON certification. They can maybe give you running money, running capital, but nobody will give you money to go and build a factory except you are already made. In former management style, I just told you about my own style now, where we have our board meeting at the dining table or so you make decisions. That's part of their characteristics. They are also very, very flexible. Very flexible such that I'll give you an example. I went to pick just because the waste from my rice, from my maize, from my cassava was being bought by a particular person who was running the pig. The man will just come and buy everything. Even the sand on the ground, he will pack everything along with it. He will just buy. And I asked him, how do you, that is what I feed my pigs with. And I ask myself, if I have the raw material, why don't I now get the project? And that was how I started. And I realized that it's something that you can, so you can be flexible, you can actually move easily. Especially if you are along a particular line. Why am I planting maize and selling? I'm selling my maize, I'm not getting the kind of return I'm expecting. But if I actually use it for my feed mill, if I'm using my maize for my feed mill, I know the value of what I'm putting into that, I use it for my chicken, I use it for my pigs. So they are very flexible. They are dependent on individual decision makers. Most of the time, SME micro is owned by one person. And at the end of the day, it is one man that makes that decision. So it makes that part of the character, it makes decision making very fast, very fast. Now talk about the challenges, because I must tell you, it is not the bed of roses. The first one, everybody expects me to say the first one is finance. But I always tell people the first problem is not finance. Before you go into any business, you must have the money that you want to spend. Whether it is enough is another thing. But the first major problem is poor managerial skills. And this is because some of us, especially those of us who have been on somebody else's job, we have been on one table, or two tables, or three tables, but we don't know about everything. We only know about what we do. So when you go into your business, maybe you are just an administrator, you may not be a finance guru, and you may not be able to properly price your goods. You may either be selling too high or too low. What most people do is, okay, how much is this person selling? How much is that person selling? How much is that person that will fit our own price? Whereas you are not looking inwardly at your own production system and production cost. And you are not even determining, how do I want to enter this market? Am I safe to compete with the person who's been there for the last 10 years? Can I bring my own price down and then attract people and make sure I have the quality? I went for a program a few weeks ago, and one of the participants said, everybody said, if you want to compete, one of the best things to do is price. But why is iPhone never competed with Samsung? He said, is iPhone expensive? He said, yes, very expensive. He said, but all of you still use it. Why? He said, well, the quality is good. Good, the quality. He said, what about other things? He said, well, it's the in thing. So they have built their brand in such a way that in fact when you are carrying iPhone, you feel somehow superior to somebody that is just carrying an Android. That is the way they have built that product to make you think, you the consumer. So this is part of the things that you go into it. So there is poor and inadequate infrastructure, especially in Nigeria. This is a problem that is kind of local to us in Nigeria. Infrastructure. Because most SMEs do not have power to provide everything they need. In fact, the fact that you have to now put in generator and you have to now get your own source of water makes it even more difficult. You can imagine what goes into. I will give you an example. Look at that barber beside your house or your street. And imagine what he spends on his I better pass my neighbor generator. And if he can take, if light can just be constant, and he can take let's assume he spends 500 naira a day. But multiply that 500 naira for let's say he works for 25 days in a month. For him, that's a gain of over 10,000 naira added to what he's gaining now. So you can imagine what the quantum improvement in electricity will do to that small business. So here, yes, is a problem. There's lack of access of funds. Yes, there are a lot of funds out there meant for SMEs. But you see, that first factor, the managerial skills, also denies so many SMEs the advantage of getting that access. Because whether I like it or not, that money is not supposed to be a gift. It's supposed to come to you, you use it, put it back so that somebody else can use it. And unless you assure a bank like BOI that you can actually use it very well through proper management and return it, they're not going to give you the money. Unfair competition, especially from some SMEs in this country who are owned by expatriates. We have people who have seen the opportunity in the Nigerian economy. While we are complaining about the challenges, while we were busy complaining, they came here. And I'm trying to see them all around Chinese companies, Indian companies. They are in the SME sector. And they're doing well. But we are busy. We are not looking at the light. We are looking at the darkness. Government bureaucracy. That also is a point. I mean, as a Nigerian, I must confess, yes, we have that. We have inconsistencies in the policy. We have multiple taxation, where the local government wants to collect money from you, the state wants to, the federal government wants to. You can see what is happening about VAT currently, where the private sector is worried, you don't even know what to do. There's a threat from the state, you don't pay to us. There's a threat from the FRS, you don't pay to us. So this is part of our problem. Then low demand. But the low demand thing, I'll talk about that later. Because low demand depends a lot on what you do, where you are, and how you go about it. But it's also a problem for SME. So, how do you start? And this is where we get to the practical aspect of it. I'm not going to be quoting people, I'm going to be talking about from my own experience. And please, I will welcome people who have done it before too, who may have other suggestions beyond what I have. The first thing I'll tell people to do, especially at our age, is to do what you love to do. Do what you love to do. It is not at 55, 58, you start looking for one new business. Maybe when you are 25, 30, you may have done that. But now, when you are 60, that's not when to start to look for a new business. Do something you already know how to do. Feel comfortable. You have a passion to do. Pick something from that area. And there are many you can. Do what you are passionate about. And if you look at yourself deep enough, you'll be able to discover something in yourself that I like to do this thing. So apart from the idea to be commercial, to make money from it, you also have the love for doing that thing. So it's very important. Second, scan your environment. I plan to retire to Osun State. That's where I'm from. That's where I plan to retire to. I'm not going to do a business that I only sell in Lagos. I must do a business that will sell in Osun State. A friend of mine started a car wash. Wonderful car wash in Osogbo. And he was charging 500 naira per car. Because if he doesn't charge 500 naira per car, no car will come. But the same car wash, if you put it in Lagos, 2,000, 2,500 naira per car. The car wash did not last for more than 1 year before it folded up. Because the cost of running it was more than what it was making. It's about him not properly scanning his environment before putting the business there. In Osogbo, people will watch their car in their house. Most people. Yes. No, that's where I'm from. So I'm not using Osogbo. I'm from Igbo. I'm from there. So people prefer to watch their car in their house. So you must scan your environment. If I start a car wash here, this is a good business. Clearly define the current situation. Satisfying a need. Also, it is not about sometimes what you want to do. When you determine what you want to do, you must also know what the market wants. Because if you put something there and you are not satisfying anything, people are not going to come. And you need them to come. That's the only way you can make money. So there is not, in an economy like our own, there are tremendous opportunities. The more the challenges, the more the opportunities. Somebody just started something somewhere now where they call elderly care. We all know what elderly care means abroad and everything. But this time around, the man is not opening a home for elders. What he's doing is actually employing young people who now go to the houses of these old people to take care of them, cook for them, Provide for them. When your daddy has to go to the hospital, maybe you are in Ibadan, you are in Lagos. Your parents are in a place like Oshogo, sorry I keep mentioning Oshogo, they need to go to the hospital. They take a car there, take them to the hospital, bring them back home. You can imagine the comfort it gives you sitting down in Lagos. That is a need that you identified and you started satisfying it. And that is how to start. So you must also clearly define the current situation of the enterprise. I just spoke about the car wash person. It may have been a different story if you had started a car wash in Lagos. Because it will have sold well. One, people don't have time to wash cars in Lagos. Time is our greatest enemy here in Lagos. So people prefer to just outsource that. Let me just take it there. I sit down 30 minutes to wash my car and go away. But in a place like Oshogo where there's no traffic, there's nothing, you can put your car in your house, wash it yourself. You want to go anywhere in 10 minutes, you are there. So this is what I'm talking about here. You must study the current situation. What is the strength? What is the weakness? What are the opportunities? What are the threats? Our normal sports that we learned in school. This is the time to put it at work. What is the strength of this? What is the weakness? What is the threat? So when you weigh it against each other, you know whether it's something you want to go into. In fact, it may help you to decide what to do and what not. Maybe you have 3 options. By the time you do a swap, you say, this is the best. This is what I will take. And it's also good that you do a business that gives you flexibility, where you can expand exponentially. Okay, if I do this business, I can move from here to here. I have a friend who started a nursery school, and today he's already applying to the Nigerian University Commission. He started nursery school, he went into secondary, and here some people have come together and they want to start a university. I'm sure we all know the story of Lagos Computer College.
Yes.
FCC started as a computer school. Today he has a polytechnic. So you can see that lateral expansion because it is the area of strength you move from that to other things. Decide on the product or service enterprise based on what you've done above. And then select the right markets to penetrate. Select the right markets to penetrate. I'll let you into a secret that I learned a few months ago, a few weeks ago really. I was attending a seminar on Agric. We were doing something on cassava. And then the person that was lecturing us said, there's what we call farm gate processing. I'm sure it will not be new to do some people. For me, it was very new. So after the seminar, I called the person. I said, that is simple. That what is useful in that cassava you are putting? Everything. It's not up to 40%. 45. Thank you. 25. Good. So when you carry it from, well, I don't know how much you people know the hinterland. You carry it from one farm inside the Ijayi in Ibadan, and you are bringing it to the city. You are just carrying waste. So that Ijayi, if there are a lot of cassava farm there, you can actually process it right there inside the farm and take only the useful thing back to the city. But the idea that gave me was beyond even what was saying. That means I can actually process from there and take as far as Abuja, and take as far as the North Central, where there are a lot of processors of cassava flour, cassava starch, and everything. I can actually take to them. And I started talking to them. And that is the whole idea. The right market to penetrate. Then this issue of the mode of entry is also critical. One thing I found out, there's no business you want to do that nobody is already doing it. Somebody is already doing it. So it's always good to now decide yourself. How do I want to enter? One, are there people that need this service that this person is not satisfying? Remember before pure water, there was bottled water. Before pure water, before the packaged pure water, there was actually ice water. God bless you. When we were younger, it was in bottles. You remember? It was in bottles. Then it started being in the plastic bag, the cellophane bag. Yeah, in nylon. Red nylon for pure water. and then pure water came. Pure water was now the bridge between those nylon that we think is dirty to what is more hygienic. Somebody saw that gap, that this man does not have enough money to buy ever, but he doesn't want to buy ice water to Turi. So he now brought something in the middle. 5 naira, I think he started at 5 naira. And now boom. That was it. We exported ice water. In Ghana there is ice water today. In Togo there is ice water. But he started here in Nigeria. So that is about it. So his whole mode of entry was to start from the people that were not being satisfied. So you now see some of them, after the pure water, they started the bottled water factory right beside, because then it was the Emma of this world that were doing it, the big ones. Rapid is government, Swan. We now started having Lily and Co also doing water today. Ragolis first, Ragolis and Swan first, before Emma. Emma also came because they saw the sources of Ragolis and Swan. So then, find the right moment to do it. Like I said the other time, let's not fool ourselves. If you want to retire and you want to start investing with your gratuity, it's risky. It's very, very risky. I can tell you that. Because these days, those money, let's even assume you have been able to save up to 30 million naira inside your savings, inside your retirement savings. And when you finish, by the law now, they will give you 50% of it. Immediately you retire. They give you 50%, which is 15 million. If you are not careful, in 2 years, it can go. If you are not careful. So the policy that I have taken is that whatever I get in that gratuity, I'm only going to do 2 things with it. I'm going to use it to eat, and I'm going to use it for medicals. Eat, owo jenny. If it's about to get 50 million naira, you know. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, the time to start is now. Start thinking. For some, it may not even be setting up a factory. It may just be that you have a superior knowledge about something. You start writing about it. You start giving free lectures at some schools. You start consulting for people. Free. You start consulting for them free. These are businesses that you can do. We all have things we can do. So how to be successful, ladies and gentlemen, and here I'm going to be quoting a national professor of strategic management from a business school in Australia. The first thing he said was to be prepared to work really hard. And this is even more important for our own environment here, Nigeria. You have to work hard. And that is why it's better to start while the strength is still there. Because you are going to work hard. The second, be prepared to work smart. Be prepared to work smart. A friend of mine started a bakery. And I went to the bakery and he complained to me that he was spending so much money on diesel for the generator because he was using electric oven. He was spending so much money on diesel for the generator. So I asked him, when do you sell your bread? He said, mostly bread business is in the morning. That's when they take the bread out. Is there a time that there is constant power in your area where power is more constant? It's usually more constant in the day, in the morning. But their production is always in the night. So by the time they want to produce, light is gone. And I said, so why don't you consider producing in the morning? He said, yeah. I said, yes. Why don't you consider producing in the morning and you'll be able to cut off maybe up to 40-50% of your cost of production? I said, what about when people want to buy? I said, is there no way you can create a room where you can keep your bread and you can give them freight for him to take it the next morning, he said he will exploit that. A year later, he came to me and said that he has saved. In fact, there were days that he didn't put on the generator during production. So all he's paying for is the public power. So you must prepare to work smart. I was trying to advise him to small. He was selling small bread. He was competing with all the small big who are using firewood. You have carved a niche for yourself with your production process. Why don't you just do small bread? It's the same energy that goes into producing this water that will go to producing the bigger size. The same energy that goes to producing the 50 naira bread that will go to producing 500 naira bread. Why don't you now produce more 500 naira bread? So these are ideas that you can, these are our business techniques that they taught us in school those days. These are the time to bring it up. Be passionate about your business. When you are passionate, you are persistent, no matter what. The new 3 P's of production is now passion, purpose, and persistence. Because many times you will ask yourself the question, why am I doing this? When the problem comes, when the challenges come, you ask yourself that question. Why am I even doing this? Sorry if I can't speak Yoruba, I'm very sorry. That's just my nature. You just ask yourself, so you need to be passionate about that business, that nothing can sway you off. You just want to make success out of it. So you must have a never give up attitude against adversity, because adversity will come. Especially in this our country, adversity will come. Local government tax force will come. They will stop you. State government will come. Police will catch your vehicle on the road. Frustrating things will happen. But that never give up attitude will help you through it. Then have an unwavering belief in your business, in what you do. Passion is what gets you started. The passion gets you started, but perseverance is what gets you through. Because if the frustration comes, you can burn up passion easily. Be good at dealing with customers, especially when they are being difficult. No matter what business we are doing, we still have our target audience, our customers. Without them, we cannot do anything. So we must be ready to satisfy the customer. No matter what. When they are being difficult, let's do our best to satisfy them. Let's do our best. The fact they are with you, they want to buy from you and they are being difficult means they are still ready to buy from you. So do your best to satisfy them. Then be a lifelong learner. Be a lifelong learner. Nobody knows it all. Always be ready to update your skills in any way possible. In fact, it is becoming easier by the day now. You can sit down in your house and listen to a lecturer in America. Free lectures are out there. Free books are out there. I told my son that if we had gone to school at this time they are going to school, we'll be having first class. We'll go to library, the book you are reading was written like 25 years before we were born. But today, they click on Google. They will get free books anywhere. You must be willing to fail and to learn from your mistakes. A bad day in business can also be a great day for business. Because what it tells you is what you are not going to do again. It tells you to know what you are not going to do again. So there is a lesson you have learned there. You can look at what went wrong and make proactive plans to address any issues head on. There is no pathway to success that is smooth. Don't allow motivational speakers to tell you what is not. There is no smooth road to business. Strive for continuous improvement. I'll give you an example of this room that we are in today. I think you hold these events every 2 years. Assuming you come here in 2023, still meet everything that was here in 2021. They still have this black thing, they have this black. No change. Can you imagine yourself how you would feel? After 3 years, it's still the same. But if you come in 2023 and this place instead of this tile is now rock or it's now granite, and you change the design of the POP and everything, you will feel, these people are improving. Even you apply it at their room, but the first impression you've got is that they have changed. Even if it is this lights, they change. You know that they have been. So in our businesses, we must continuously strive for improvement. Our customers will see and it will also improve our business. You must learn to stay calm under high pressure. Because in a country like ours, especially, pressure will come. And if you have to think through the problem, you must have a calm mind. The problem is there, it is there. It is a solution we want to find. So just step back from the problem, sit back, and reason well. Don't use the same mind that created the problem for you to try and solve the problem. It's not work. Be open to change and embrace it. Don't have any fixed mindset that it must be like this. And be mindful. It can come from anybody. Mr. Abin told you about the project that we first worked on. There was a particular process in that project that was very cumbersome. We call it space allocation. Space allocation was always the toughest. We usually have over 1,000 exhibitors, and you have to allocate the space and everything. And a youth corps member was in my office. They were supposed to do that project, that particular aspect of the project over the weekend. So we were all in the office, and naturally I will come to them. And the young lady came to my office and said, "Oga, is there no better way that we can do this?" I said, "Well, I said it is monotonous, that she's just writing the same thing. She's just writing." He said, I said, "Okay, let me look at it." At that time, I just finished a course in Excel, normal MS Excel, the spreadsheet. And I remember one of the lecturers that told us that there's nothing you cannot do with Excel. So I went into Excel. And I started using all kind of formula. And lo and behold, I realized that since we already have the name of all the exhibitors in Excel, the space, the book, everything is in Excel already. We can actually create something that will automatically just print out their own allocation. But you took, and that was when you took a youth corps member. Come and tell me. I'm telling you, the turnaround time became like 1 hour to allocate space to 500 exhibitors. 1 hour. Something we will do in about 1 week. So you must always be ready for change. You must embrace it when it comes. Go further and embrace change. Going further means going beyond what you are doing at the moment or how you are doing it. And also try to anticipate the next change. A dynamic businessman is the only businessman that can be successful. Look at where we find ourselves today in Nigeria. I remember there was a time people were using 090 because the status symbol. We used not 9 up in Nigeria. Then we also had the pager. You remember the pager?
Yes.
And then that one that will just send message to you, pager. But when DSM came, swept everything up. They closed down completely. They couldn't survive. Today in Nigeria, there is no landline except the one that we are using, GSM. There's no landline because those organizations were not ready for the change. Every time I say this, I always tell people go and read the story of Nokia. The man said we did everything right, but we still failed. When BlackBerry was coming out and things were changing, they said it would never work, it can never kill their business. It killed their business. The man was crying when he was saying it. So you must always try to anticipate the next change and get ahead of the game. Adapt quickly to changing market conditions. I run an organization that's into capacity development. And when COVID came and the lockdown came, everything went down, social distancing, and we were doing capacity work. People could not sit like this today. And we were running lectures. So what are we going to do? 2 months, not one single revenue, not one couple. 2 months, and I was paying salary. And I knew the way things are going. So what did we do? I asked myself, so if we have meeting on Zoom, can we have training on Zoom? And I can tell you, we were one of the first few organizations in Nigeria that started online training. Especially for the caliber of people who are dealing with, people felt it can never work out. How would the chairman of the board director, sit down across the screen to be learning and everything? But our first training program was oversubscribed. In fact, it was we were the one that said, sorry, we cannot take more than 50. Normally when we have a physical class, our maximum is 10. So what did we do to encourage them? We gave them 15% discount, whereas our own cost had gone down by 50%. So we even made more money. So it is important to adapt quickly to changing market conditions. And this is very important. Be a very good financial manager. You may not be an accountant. You may not be an accountant. As a Yoruba man, my people will say something. One day at the shoulder, and they are more paid. If you go, you and you be baby boy. To back the monkey, once you hold the stick and they are chasing rats. I'm not a hunter, but this place I'm standing, if this rat come here, I will kill it. With this stick I have in my hand, I will kill it. Exactly. So when you have your accountant and everything, you must still have the knowledge of what they are giving you. It's very important. You must have the knowledge. And it's simple. It's profit and loss. It's profit and loss. That is the bottom line of everything. No matter how they don't know what they don't know exactly. That's the thing. They don't know what how much comes in, how much is going on. How much do you produce this thing? How much do you want to sell it? So if you want to sell it, what other costs are coming in? The cost of the vehicle, the cost of the staff, the cost of everything. Do it. So you must have some. It's not that somebody will continue to draw rings around you before you know it, the company is bankrupt. Then I want to talk about the issue of partnership. It is one area where we're very poor in Nigeria. In fact, sometimes if you want to go into partnership and you talk to your wife, you say, or the wife talks to say, you can't follow, because of the kind of stories we've had. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes sharing the risk reduces the stress. So if you have people that you can do business with, it is not wrong. There's nothing wrong with people. So in the business world, sometimes 2 heads are better than one. And when it occurs between a collaboration between individual business leaders, or it can even be between 2 organizations. So let us not throw away the opportunity of partnership for anything we want to do. You may have even started your own business, you are doing fine. Another person who is doing fine says, why don't you come together? Maybe there is a way you can move those 2 organizations forward. Because if you have 100% of 1,000 naira, it is, yes, exactly. Thank you, my brother. If you have 100% of 1,000 naira, and you can get 50% of 100,000 naira, it is better. So it's something you should look at. A business partnership can also increase a company's resources, facilitate expansion, and provide a wider range of employees' set skills. The people you have in your organization have their own skills. The other person has other skills. You bring them together. You can create an organization that is even bigger. At the same time, an incompatible or ineffective partnership can stall productivity. So as we are saying, partnership is good. It must be partnership that is compatible, efficient, and effective. One partnership can yield various benefits to companies at all stages of development. It's important that businesses that intelligently choose. You must intelligently choose who you are partnering with and actively maintain collaborative relationships. So I have look. These are the guidelines I have taken from this man who was a U.S. Secretary of Under Secretary of State. He said, one, choose partnerships. Sorry, that's an error. Choose partnerships that complement your goals and personality. The two of you must be going towards the same direction. You cannot be going across Dominant Bridge and your partner says he wants to go to Ego Bridge. It's not going to work. Determine ownership structure and succession plans. There is no party in business partnership. This is the mistake we make. Oh, it's my friend, and you leave some things undone. There must be proper documentation filed with all the necessary regulatory authorities because of the future. We don't own our life. God owns our life. I have seen partners who have died and their children don't get anything from the companies who have been spoiled because they didn't do proper communication. It's my friend. Everything is going on well. And something happens. In fact, we've seen, even when poor are alive, we've seen partners actually buy them out of businesses. So it is very important. You must determine the ownership structure and succession plans. And you must communicate effectively and very often. One, it is important to have a goal-oriented conversation with your partner in which you clearly and honestly state your priorities and expectations for the partnership. Because if you want to innovate and your partner does not want to innovate, there's already problem brewing. So you must have the same mindset. Hold regular meetings from once per month to once per quarter. Don't forget this is an SME. They're not talking about one big board anywhere. Like somebody said, hanging out. It may even be, your meeting may even be just like a hangout between the two of you to discuss the business. You're about to say, or onile. You can say, you can discuss it anywhere. Consistent communication will allow you and your partner to continue to develop a shared vision and deal with any potential roadblocks. It is from discussion that you know that maybe this thing I want to do, this man does not like it. And you'll be able to reach a compromise when you are discussing. Develop a process of measuring contributions and commitments. Because a partnership is not that one man will be doing all the work and the other will just be collecting money. So there must be a process that actually rewards the contribution of every partner into the business. And that must be from the beginning. If you are bringing in, the capital I'm bringing in, you must agree that I am owning this particular shares in this company. We must know, if it is 50-50, we will know. I had the experience of somebody I was consulting for who lost the hostel. They came together, she started the hostel, I was consulting for her, and then one time she needed money. And without informing those of us that were working, consulting for her, she got a colleague of ours, a schoolmate who was based in the US, to invest in her business. And during the investment, they never dotted any T. They never crossed any T, they never dotted any I. And one day, the man came from US and said, after the COVID, he said they were not making enough money. Then the man had invested, he expects the money, and the money was not coming in. And it was when that came that she called me and said there's this problem. When I looked at the book, I saw that the guy had registered the new company, he had 70%. My friend had 30%. And at the end of the day, when they were going to deal with the matter, they were dealing with her as like a staff, not like a co-owner. I saw everything, I saw the structure, I saw everything. I didn't even bother myself. I told her immediately, it's either you just take your loss now, take your money and go and start another house, or remain the staff of this guy. He said, I said yes, because you have made a mistake. And then eventually, you didn't take my advice, but a few weeks ago, that was what happened. She was sacked. She was actually sacked. You can imagine the owner of a business being sacked. Yes, sir. Unfortunately, all the legal documents are in favor of the parties. God bless you. In fact, she scanned her signature to them. She didn't even see the documents. I got the documents through search and CAC. She doesn't even have a copy. And she's an educated person, though. It's not an illiterate. So I'm just giving you that it was supposed to be. Don't allow anybody to use the word trust. Trust. In business, everything must be in black and white. Because you don't know what can happen. If we need to break up, how we are going to break up? From the beginning, you must say that what if there's a problem? This is a human relationship. Anything can happen. So that was part of the plan from the beginning. So you go, okay, this is the way we are going to pray. If we are going to pray, this is the way we are going to pray. Then somebody asked me to come and write my will now. And I said, you want me to die? It's not about death. Death is inevitable. But if you write your will, anytime it happens, you are safe. No, I'm telling you, if you write your will and you write your will well, it can only be a problem for some time.
It was burnt, NSAS. Also the one in
the probate.
Yes.
In the probate office.
But, okay, let me tell you, what is in the probate is also with the lawyer. Am I right?
In most
cases, what is in the probate be with the lawyer? Exactly. So that is it okay? What is the best option? Is it not having it at all? Exactly. That is the thing.
The intricacies in Nigeria.
As the funny country. But it's not only in Nigeria. Actually, that can happen anywhere in the world.
The wills are stored in fireproof vaults.
I understand what you're saying, but the truth of the matter is that even these days, nobody stops me for anything. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Set protocol for decision making and conflict resolution. That's just one part of what I'm saying now. Conflict resolution especially. Everything does not need to go to court. In your agreement, these days, the easy thing to do is that in agreement, you put something about arbitration and conciliation. You put something about arbitration. Arbitration is such that the two of you can settle your problem without having to go through the long, tortuous journey of the judicial system. And once you have it there, in fact, Lagos State has an arbitration court now where things are settled fast and easy. Then the last thing I will talk about here, know when to walk away.